going mad because nobody knows what they want to do with their teams. But first Contcast of the year, and we're using a new software, StreamYard, as Google has decided to abandon their Hangouts on air. Found this today. We'll see how it goes. There's some other options, but we'll give this one a shot. So I got 3 guys on the cast right now. Some others may join in later. We have Boss.
What's up, guys?
PKW, new cut. How are you guys? How you doing? And Trig.
Thanks.
All right. So the new software allows us to do everybody here online with their own label, as well as add the screen, as we can see here. So we'll get going through the agenda, kind of talk about what were some of the key topics, and then at the end of the cast, we'll get to the RMPs. So JK wants us to delay on the streaming striker till he comes here. So best 4.5 and under defenders. I think a lot of us are going with at least one 4.0. I'm going with 2. Is there any 4.5 if you're going to go with one of them, either as permanent player or as a rotation, that you would recommend? So, Boss, you're at the top. You want to kick us off?
Yeah. So, just based on fixtures alone, I've picked Gilbert. I think he seems like a really attacking wing-back, full-back type player. So I'm going to start off with him and Kiko as well, just because he's got a bit of a FPL pedigree, scoring, assisting, and likewise he rotates pretty well with Gilbert and Lundstrom, who seems like the only semi-nailed 4 mil defender. Obviously Bezic has come in, so he might take his place, but I'm willing to roll with him at least initially. And if he gets dropped, having 1 4 mil bench fodder just sitting there is not the end of the world.
Yeah, being a Villa fan, I would agree with that. Gilbert has, obviously the fixtures outside of this week. I don't quite know how Smith is going to set up, but he seems to be the choice down the right flank and giving some space to let the mids move around. So a decent shot. Trey, do you want to go? PK setting up his phone. Do you want to go?
Yeah. I did a couple of days ago have 2 4.0s. I think there's question marks over all of them now, I think. So I've been looking at the 4.5 rotation too. I think I'm like you, Swan. I think I want to see how Villa set up to see if Gilbert does get a starting spot, if he plays every game. I think maybe Dunk and Kiko are probably the safest 4.5. I think Watford and Brighton rotate quite nicely. As Boss mentioned, I think Kiko's shown that he can pick up assists and goals as well. Dunk as well, or a Montoya at Brighton too. I think that's quite a nice safe 4.5 rotation. I think I'm going to currently have those 2 alongside Lundstrom, and then probably Zinchenko and whichever Liverpool defender I go with. So there's definitely 4.5s out there if you're going down that route. I'm very wary about the 2 4.0 option currently, though. I think 1 is my limit.
Hold on a second. I have Bo on the phone, but he's not really joined. Okay. All right.
I think he said he's just listening in.
Yeah, I'm getting some noise from somewhere, though, so I can mute his mic. All right. PKW, your thoughts on the 4.5s?
Yeah, I mean, from what I've been looking, I think they've done us quite dirty this year on them. There's not as many options as perhaps has been in recent years. And I wouldn't say some of that isn't down to pricing. Some is, for example, to me, the Wolves defense is all 1 million too much on every single player. I honestly can't justify how they've bumped them up that much. The one defense I was hoping for when the game was first released was Newcastle, but after Benitez just left and the whole mess that is their team, it's just gone off the rails completely. So I actually looked into it a bit earlier. I think I posted in our chat that the rotation of Smith, Kiko, and Montoya actually has some like tremendous fixtures all the way till the end of the year. I don't think you play like a single top 6 team, even like top 10 team, really. It's all teams like Palace, Norwich, Villa, those sorts of fixtures. So if I was looking into that, that would probably be the only way I'd go. There's also West Ham, but I'm not convinced on if Fredericks, who'd be my go-to, is really nailed, and B, on how their defense is gonna progress from last season.
Do you want me to
Yeah.
show? It was Smith, Kiko, and who else was the three we were thinking?
Smith, Kiko, and Montoya.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think like the rotation from what I checked was like quite ridiculous.
You look through 12. Let me zoom in. Oop. Yeah, you can see it's there in the blue. It is pretty good.
Yeah, so it's all like I think you have maybe like 1 or 2 games against Everton, but the rest is all like really good fixtures. So if I was going that, like, I think Rico is a bit of a dead option now with Daniels back.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then obviously Lloyd Kelly is going to be back after, and he's going to probably be the first choice there. So unfortunately, that option is dead. Kelly is dead because Cahill signed now. Who else is? One option that a few people have actually been mentioning, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it might have just been because of injuries. There's this guy called Johnson at West Ham. He got quite a lot of minutes in
Oh,
pre-season,
yeah.
but again, I'm not sure how that will reflect on Rico. How that will reflect through Fredericks. And yeah, obviously Gibson is probably a no-go because that Tarkovsky move we were all hoping for didn't actually go through.
Right.
So yeah, there's really not that many options left now. Like, Lindstrom is the only one we can all hope for, and I'm not even sure if that will happen because they signed Besic now for Sheffield.
Yeah.
So he could easily take his spot. So quite a dead territory.
Yeah. You look at the ownership for the 4.5s. It's pretty high for Kelly still, and then a lot of that might be still autocompletes perhaps.
Yeah.
But there's definitely room in here. I mean, even if like I know of myself, I think I'm going to keep Lundstrom, but if I upgrade Rico to Montoya, that rotation itself is pretty good.
Yeah.
And then if Greenwood does get minutes, like Oli said today, that should be fine for at least the first few weeks till we wildcard.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I'm not as convinced on Greenwood as everyone seems to be as an option.
Same.
Like, it's 4.5 and his ownership is like 20% or something like that.
I feel
It
like it's
just
trapped.
looks like price falls waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
mean,
know like
It's fallen a bit. 16.5 at the moment.
yeah, like I get this whole argument that, if he's not playing, the price fall doesn't affect you as much. But if at any point you then want to change to a 4-3-3 formation, or any formation with 3 forwards, you're suddenly like left screwed because, especially at the beginning, that 0.1 is effectively a 0.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
I just
think
wonder what people are hoping for with Greenwood. I mean, are people having him in the hope that he actually starts a couple of games, that maybe he'll start game week 3 against Southampton and we can all play him in that game? Or if nobody has any intention of ever playing him, then I think you're right. It's almost smarter to get a 4.5 that's not going to lose value.
Yeah.
I just
That's
But
I
that's the
mean,
problem.
think
currently,
okay.
even if I have him, he's going to be second on my bench, if not third.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's ever going to come in, really. The only reason I'd have him is if he was a starter, and then I might play him.
Yeah, and you can't ever feel comfortable that he's going to start, really, because unless there's an injury or Ollie says well in advance that Greenwood's going to start that game, which he probably wouldn't. Like he said, you're probably just going to keep him on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, like the two big things for me. The reason I don't have Greenwood at the moment is because for my team structure, obviously you need sort of like a 6 and 6.5 option. I prefer the 6 to 6.5 forwards at the moment than I do the midfielders.
Yeah.
Which means I'm going with a 3 up top effectively rather than like a 4-4-2 or a 3-5-2. Just because a lot of the 6 million mids are from promoted teams, and I kind of want to see like all their new players. So I want to see how Trossard, how Grealish, like how Hernandez from Norwich, all these sorts of guys get on before I commit to having them in my team. And I feel safer with having like a King or a Deulofeu or a Jota up top.
Yeah, go with the ones you know are going to start first. Before.
Yeah, go with the ones I know. Go with a King that I know is on penalties.
Mm-hmm.
Go with a Deulofeu or a Dini, one of which is on penalties, both which have good fixtures. Like, just think they're better options than some of the people like Lamella, who's probably not going to be nailed after the first 2 game weeks.
Yeah.
Trossard, who's just complete unknown in a like Brighton side. I think are still getting used to actually finding out what attacking is.
Yeah. So we have real quick. We have AK joined us.
Okay.
Okay.
So we did the 4.5 defenders, and it kind of segued into a Greenwood discussion, which is very valuable. I think. Let's see. We next. How do we feel about Everton attack? Boss is here for that. They seem to lack goals the preseason, but they look pretty decent, at least in the last friendly. I know I'm starting with 2. Boss, do you want to kind of weigh in? You guys have made a lot of transfers this window too.
Yeah, I watched every preseason game, and while particularly the last game against Werder Bremen, we looked really good. We created a ton of chances. It really did just come down to not having a clinical striker to put the chances away. Even Siggy was a little bit rusty, but against Werder Bremen, DCL had like 3 clear-cut chances, and Bernard also had one right in the box, right in front of the goalkeeper that he skied over the bar. So, like, I think if we create as many chances as we did in that game for Moise Kean, he'll be gold. He will, because he seems a pretty kind of fox in the box, clinical finisher. So I've decided to start off with Kean just kind of because I know I want him eventually. I think there's a decent chance he starts this weekend. He said that he's ready to start. But if he doesn't start this weekend, he will next weekend. So I'd rather just save the free transfer, start off with him. And I think Siggy's a good option. I've had to get rid of him to fit a Liverpool defender in. But my top 3 picks are probably Digne, Siggy, Keane, Richer, in that order.
Interesting. Yeah, I've given Keane some thought. I think another thing in his favor too is he's 19 years old, which we don't feel any fear at that age. So I'm not, and the pressure of the PL might not get to him right away. I worry about him getting up to match fitness though, having had no preseason with Everton at all. But if it's definitely worth a punt on somebody. If he goes off, you're going to want to get him in. And like you said, rather save the transfer now. Whether I would take him over a Bournemouth forward like King, I'm not quite sure. I think if you're getting him in addition and keeping a guy like Wilson or King, then I think that's probably more viable strategy.
Yeah.
I think it almost makes sense with somebody like Keane, where you want to see how he fits in for the first 2 games, it's so nice to jump maybe from Wilson to Keane after 2 weeks if he fires, or if you feel like Sigurdsson or Richarlison are one started off better than the other. I think it's. I'm quite happy to wait and see on Everton. I will want an Everton player after a few weeks, I think, but I'm quite happy to wait 2 weeks and then decide who I want. I think.
Definitely fair. I think all of us are going with at least one defender.
Yeah.
I think most have Digne or Coleman.
I think Digne is effectively having their attack, isn't it? To be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
With the amount of set pieces he takes, like I'm quite happy to just chill with like Fraser and King, or like double up with like King and Wilson, and then switch them out to like Keane and Haller in game week 3 when they're both like sort of had chances to show.
If you look at the
So with
fixtures
Keane
too,
not even nailed for game week 1, you know, I
right?
think at the beginning it's a bit of an unnecessary risk.
No
And
risk,
I
no
don't
reward.
think like making transfers is that bad at the start. So like I'm happy to take a start with like King or Wilson, and then even if I need a hit to get Keane in, I'll take that hit because I feel safer in case he just doesn't start for the first 3 weeks and King scores like 10, 15 points in those.
Be a week late than a week early. I hear you.
Yeah.
I mean, the defender though, I think is truly neat. If you look at the teams they're playing, Palace are a mess. You know, Watford to score hit or miss. We're going to have trouble scoring. Wolves, all right. I mean, they're good attacking. Bournemouth can be hit or miss, and Sheffield are not known as attacking. So in the first 6, you got decent chance to keep some clean sheets, even though we know it's harder at the start of the year. AK, any thoughts on Everton?
Yeah, I really like their fixtures, and I was looking at the bookies odds, and they are very high on Everton. So I think Crystal Palace are gonna. I don't think the camp is very. I think the mood is really bad right now with all the Zaha transfer case, and I think he's the only quality player there who can actually score or create something. So this is one game, and also they struggled at home last season. If you remember, I think they scored 19 goals at home only in 19 games. So I think this is one game where I'm really hopeful about Tina. And then Watford home is okay. Maybe I don't know what happens there. Watford are a good side, decent side, but then again they are hit and miss. Aston Villa, I think you would know better. I don't know. It's a promoted side. I haven't seen them at all. Wolves and Bournemouth are two games that I'm not very sure about for clean sheets because they are decent sides. They are decent attacking sides. And the problem is Bournemouth is away. So at home, I think I would fancy them to score at least one against Everton. So the first three look really decent for me.
Yeah. From a Villa perspective, this early in the year, I think our attacking line is going to be shuffled until Smith figures out what the best formation is. So I don't confident in us scoring a lot early. I think Wesley has potential, but I would say decent bet of a clean sheet that early from Everton in that one. Okay, JK is joining us, so it's perfect to go into back to the cast. Let me add JK. Hey, JK.
Also, I want to
guys.
talk about
JK?
Hi, JK.
Yeah, JK. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about Richarlison versus Sigurdsson. Who's going for whom? If you are going for one.
I've gone for Richarlison. I think that where he'll play up front. I think maybe either partnering King or maybe just to the right of him. So to me, I think he started well last year as well. So he seems to hit the ground running. He doesn't have set pieces or pens like Siggy does, but to me, I think the risk is the reward outweighs the risk by the fact that he's playing up front. Boss, you're the Everton fan. If you had to pick between the two,
Yeah, I lean Siggy just because, like you say, he's probably got penalties and still got some free kicks and corners. I think they'll be fairly close and fairly even for the most part. It really is kind of a pick your poison. One of the things I was worried about was the fact that Richer played Copa America and hasn't had as much time off, whereas Siggy's very well rested. He had a proper off season and played preseason with the team, so he's maybe a little bit more settled. But Rich is explosive and did start off pretty hot last season, so the same could happen. But if I had to pick, gun to my head, I'd probably go Siggy.
And that's what I'm on as well, because his creativity stats are almost triple. They're 3 times better than Richarlison's from last season, and the goal threat isn't as bad in terms of if you compare it with Richarlison. So I think I'm just going for a safer option in Siggy, although Richarlison is obviously more explosive. Do you think he's still on penalties, Sigurdsson?
That's what I was just about to ask. Yeah.
Yeah, it
He's
depends.
missed a few
He might
goals.
take them.
I think he might take them, but I don't know right from the off if he would as well. I think you're probably safe with Siggy on pens for a while.
Yeah, I would say assume he is until we see otherwise.
Fair enough.
It's quite
And
unfortunate.
nailed on Siggy's generally always been FPL gold.
Yeah.
Yep.
Didn't we all think that Tosin was on penalties at this time last year? I know I started with him for that reason. That turned out to be horrible. JK here. So the topic you want to talk about, JK, were the expensive forwards and are we overlooking them in the team. So I will bring up the max cost forwards from here if you want to take a look. And go ahead. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so I get why people are ignoring the Kanes and Aubameyangs. You've got Salah and Sterling. Perhaps having another premium sets a balance. And maybe if you've got the double Liverpool defence, the City defender, the F defender, there isn't the space for a premium striker. But I think it's maybe a bit short-sighted. There's generally been 2 arguments that I've heard put forward as to why you wouldn't want one. The first one is, well, I wouldn't captain them. Okay, maybe, but it seems to me that I think you're missing a trick. Again, they're good options, but I get that logic. For me, I will be captaining Aubameyang game week 2. The second argument I hear put forward is, well, look at the points last season. All the defenders outscored the premium forwards. Henceforth, the premium forwards are poor value. On that point, you could be right. It could happen again. But who says I'm going to keep Aubameyang for 38 game weeks?
Yeah.
If Aubameyang gets, say, 5 goals in the first 2 games, and then I jump off and I jump onto Kane or I jump onto someone else, and then they go on a run, so I'm gaining more points there than potentially I would be out of that extra premium defender slot. So will a Robertson outscore an Aubameyang over the course of a season? Yeah, probably. Will a Robertson outscore using transfers to flip between the premium options during their runs of form or when they've got a decent amount of fixtures? That I'm not so sure about. If you get the right striker in at the right time, you're much more likely to get a higher ceiling than a premium defender. And
But
my last point,
Go on, JK. Go on. I'm sorry.
my last point is this:
Yeah.
if you don't have one, and you suddenly look and say you need one, and you're on Wilson, King, and Greenwood, that's a lot of cash you've got to find to turn one of those guys into a Kane, an Aubameyang, and Aguero. Even if you did Robertson to a 4.5 or a 4.0, you might still be $1 million short. If I'm on Aubameyang and I need to get to Kane or I need to get to an Aguero, I can just snap my fingers and do it. It's not, I don't even have to think about it. So that's it. That's why I think maybe it's a little bit short-sighted to be saying there's just no point in having one.
So I think the thing is, do not really compare. You can't compare Aubameyang with Robertson because of the price difference. It's 4 million still. So
Yep,
I don't
but
think
my
Robertson is.
people are making that comparison. They're saying I won't get Aubameyang because Robertson scores more points at the end of the season. So they are comparing them.
I mean, we cannot. We know. We are. I think I would say we are good people. We are good managers. We won't do that. So I think the thing is, I was on 3 premiums as well, if you know, because I had Kane for a long period of time. But now I've gone off him, mostly because I'm not exactly sure that the sacrifices that I'm making for Kane is actually worth it. Because I have to pick one of Sigurdsson or Robinson, and then I have to go with a 6 million midfielder as well with Robinson. So I'm not really sure if the sacrifices that I'm making are good for the short term, because the short term fixtures for Everton for a few mid table teams are decent. So Bournemouth have good decent fixtures. Everton have really good fixtures. So I think there the sacrifices there I'm not too sure about. Although
I
it's
think
fair, I think by the end of game week 4 or 5, we would mostly be on 3 premiums as well. It's only about the short term as of now, like for 3 or 4 weeks for now.
Yeah, and I think that's the point, is that the Aubameyang to Kane switch in game week 3 works because of the way that the fixture goes
Yeah.
that week. But again, you're right. The sacrifice you make for having an 11 million in your forward line, knowing the other ones we definitely have to go with, almost everybody is Salah, most have Sterling. Does that risk of, if Aubameyang blanks 2 in a row outweigh what someone with 4 premium defenders or someone with, a better fourth mid than Robertson is going to get out of that? PKW, I know you had thoughts on this when we were testing the stream yesterday, specifically on Aubameyang.
Yeah, well, so there's a couple of things I want to say. First of all, the whole argument with defenders outscoring premium forwards. Yeah, the scores like Robertson outscored them, I think. Van Dijk got the same as Aubameyang. But if you look at the minutes and the points gotten by the premium forwards compared to the minutes and points of the defenders, all the defenders have played about 1,000 minutes more than the forwards. So someone like Aubameyang or someone like Aguero even got his 200 points in 2,500 minutes.
That's a very good point.
I
Yes.
got the same in 3,400. That's a massive difference. So if these forwards, like, if someone like Kane stays fit for the whole season, I reckon they will definitely outscore the defenders. I really don't buy into that argument. I think it's the logic is a bit flawed. I think the last season was a bit of a freak season too, maybe, and I'm not sure. I want to see more data than just one season to see some evidence for this to sort of continue. And the second thing I want to say is, if you look at how many teams actually have a premium forward, there's 75% of teams with at least one of them in. Now, to me, that's dangerous territory, because if any of those fire and you're not in that 75% that can make the switch or has the one that's firing, you're going to be really, really screwed. You're going to be really screwed, because presumably if you haven't loaded your money into that premium forward, you've spread it out and have a lot of 7.5, 8 million options. And then you're not only able to make one downgrade, you have to downgrade across 2 or 3 options, which might not be something you want to be doing.
Yeah, which is one of the points I made originally. It's easy to pull money out of an Aubameyang. It's not easy to pull money out of a Robertson or a Zinchenko.
Yeah. If you add up the top 5, Kane, Aubameyang, Aguero, Vardy, and Firmino, you get close to 90%. I don't know how many of those are teams that have 2 premium forwards. I'm sure there's a good chunk.
Yeah.
So 65, 70% is a pretty good number.
You actually get 98% or something. So
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, but if you, just looking at Kane straight away, you're talking nearly 30% ownership. If he goes off in game week 1, immediately you're struggling. I'm saying this as an Aubameyang owner, but if Kane finds in a couple of goals against Villa, sorry, Swan, but it's
realistic.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've actually I'm more comfortable not going with Sterling than I am not going with a premium forward. I think Aubameyang's fixtures for the first 2 weeks at least are far better than either City's or Spurs.
Yeah, I can't look. Those first 2, straight away, game week 2 for Aubameyang, he is my captain. It's just a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, Like, I can literally see him scoring about 4 goals in those first 2 games. Whereas
And
Sterling has
sorry,
an
go on,
awful record against top sides. We all know that. So I can't see him getting more than maybe an assist versus Spurs. West Ham, I mean, if he's playing on the left wing, his stats for that are pretty bad as well. So I don't know how much damage he'll do there. I kind of want to wait for Aguero to be back before I jump on Sterling. Because I think he actually performs better then than if he were to like be performing as a forward.
If I can just weigh in on this, guys, because the point that I think I want to make is that a lot of people are saying that they can't afford a premium striker, but those are the teams that have got a back four of like Laporte, Robertson, Trent, and Digne. And I don't think it's that difficult to fit in a striker like Kane or Aubameyang, as long as you don't go super heavy at the back. I mean, for example, all my drafts lately have got either Trent or Robertson and Aubameyang, and I don't feel like my team has suffered because of it.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I mean, it isn't as if you can say, okay, I can either have Robertson or Aubameyang. You can have both, no trouble, in my opinion. It's only if you go really heavy at the back that you start to run out of funds to get a premium striker.
So are you not going for Van Dijk then?
I think I'll probably have 2 premium defenders, probably. I might have to either not have Digne or not have Zinchenko, but then I think I make up for it because I'll have Aubameyang for one, and I think my midfield's fairly strong as well. So yeah, I suppose you have to make that choice. But if I think I'm comfortable knowing that if City, if Liverpool keep clean sheets, I've got them covered. I've got premium defenders, but I just think I think Aubameyang's worth it. As we've discussed, he's a good captain game week 2. And it just gives you a much more balanced squad, to be honest. So,
there's the fixtures for game week 2. So, pull away to Southampton right after the Super Cup would be the other option.
Yeah, and I still think people are underrating Southampton because they're still looking at them as a Mark Hughes team rather than a Ralph Hasenhüttl team, and he transformed that side.
Yeah.
They work harder, they're fitter.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be I expect Liverpool to win, but I don't expect Liverpool to have it easy. And I'm not sure what's Salah's away record like? Is it better or worse than his home record?
Of course, JK, I've been saying for weeks, Norwich are not the kind of side that will go to Anfield and try and get 0-0. Yeah. They could lose 6-2 tonight. They had so many games last season, 4-3, 5-2, 4-1.
The Trig and I followed the championship pretty extensively last year. They went through.
Yeah, and Daniel Park said as much in his press conference yesterday. Says we're not going to change our game. We're not naive, but we're not going to change our style.
Yeah, it would not shock me at all to see Norwich score tonight. In fact, while I've been saying I think it'll happen, the only way that I would go double Liverpool defence is just to protect myself. But I think Norwich score. I agree with you, JK. I think Southampton are good at home. I think they scored against Liverpool at home last season. Was
I think it was.
If I remember.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, suddenly Liverpool's third game is against Arsenal. Arsenal could score. And then suddenly you've got 14 million on 2 Liverpool defenders who've got 2-2-2-2-2-2.
Yeah, just while we're on the subject of the defence, I only have Alexander-Arnold. Now I'm comfortable with only 1 Liverpool defender, but I'm looking at Van Dijk's ownership, and it scared the heck out of me.
Yeah.
The guy has nearly 50% ownership. Like, if he nets tonight,
Yeah.
He'll be
It is
by deadline. I think.
So,
Yeah,
it's
that's crazy.
such an FPL thing to happen for a Van Dijk to score tonight, and everybody's on the group chat. Casuals win again. It is such an FPL
I
thing
mean,
to
I have
happen.
Van
Van Dijk
Dijk.
scoring tonight.
Yeah, even I have Van Dijk. I'm not a casual. Come on.
like, I don't have Van Dijk. So I'm saying I only have one Liverpool defender, and it's Trent.
Right.
And I don't have the funds to get another one in. So that's generally where I'm wondering, am I making a mistake by taking Trent as my one guy?
Yeah.
When
But
it should be Van Dijk?
that's the whole point of the Liverpool defense, because their premium defenders are actually attackers as well, because they are so far high up the pitch. I mean, the fullbacks got 23 assists last season in total.
The
So
fullbacks
you
are
can't
so
ignore
good
that.
for their system. But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so even if
But by the way, I didn't take a screenshot, but this number for Trent was around 28% just a couple days ago. So folks are moving off him and must be going to Van Dijk because that number has jumped a lot.
Yeah, and that's because a Van Dijk 15-pointer would just destroy you if you haven't got him.
I mean, I have Robertson. I might go to Van Dijk, but only because I want to give him the news today from Al, if you trust Al, which I don't. But Rico may not play now. If Daniels is fit. So that would be the only reason I would go to Van Dijk now. But.
Yeah, that's something I'm looking at as well.
I don't think you should be looking at ownership at all right now, because that ownership is, there are many dead teams and many players that you're not competing with right now. So you just go for the better assets, and Robertson, I think, still is a better asset than over Van Dijk.
Yeah.
So I think you would push for Robertson anyway.
Well, would you say that Trent is the best of the three?
Yeah. When he's starting, yes. If you're sure he's starting, then yes.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to my team later. It's in the RMT, so I won't want to say too much now because we'll have time for that later.
Right. Yeah. Actually, I think Boss had to drop off, but I got. Hey.
Oh,
the boss.
What's up, lads? Been a while.
Which team is it today, TFF?
Same here, Jake. It's been a while.
Nice. All right, we had two other topics before we get into the rate my team. So goalkeepers, both topics are on goalkeepers. So first off, what are the options for the 4.5s, which we'll bring up here. Leave Button aside as he just so Ryan 13.5, Pope 5.3, Henderson 1.5. They've been the four we mostly been talking about on the TFF you just joined. What's your thought on the 4.5s?
To be honest, I don't have an idea. I've been swapping back and forth since yesterday. I mean, I'm deciding between Heaton and Henderson because of the saves, and I really can't make my mind up actually.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be much. I mean, they all have. Heaton has the best fixtures, I think. But again, I don't know of any of these teams who are going to be able to keep any clean sheets given who they're playing in the fixtures, and it really is a crapshoot. I think.
Exactly.
I know we're going to talk about premium goalkeepers, which I think you're high on. But your thoughts on the 4.5s, or anyone? PPWAK.
Sorry, I zoned out for a minute. Yeah, please go ahead, JK.
You're intimidated by TFF being here. I totally get it.
Yeah.
Why would the boss man is here? I have to be intimidated.
So I've gone for Henderson. Again, I think it's a crapshoot. There's no real way of knowing who's going to turn out to be the best one. So I think just pick whichever one takes your fancy. And I think Henderson's record in the Championship last season, Sheffield United style, and his penalty saving record, for me, contribute. And I think I'll probably go with Henderson early on, with a view that either on a wild card or if I have to, I'll use a transfer and switch when the right 4.5 option does emerge. But for now, I think I'm comfortable with Henderson because I can't. If the worst was, I'll have wildcarded by the time game week 13 rolls around, which is when Henderson becomes a problem. And the absolute worst comes to the worst, maybe I have a bit more cash and I'll just buy whoever the number 2 is for Sheffield United and play them that week.
I have Heaton right now because I think I've just gone for the fixtures and the first 6 or 7 look good for Heaton over the others. And I'm hoping that Aston Villa will be decent with the investment they've made.
But with
So that's it.
Yeah, I mean, Mings signed in late January last year, and they only gave up, I believe, 13 goals in their last 15. So it definitely tightened up once Mings came on board and Dean Smith took over. And with Target now there, I think the other nailed starter at the back, I think will be a lot better defensively than people think. Yeah, we're going to give up goals, but I think that it's still not going to be, 4-2, 5-3 like a lot of the early championship games were last year.
Yeah, I mean, those
Yeah,
fixtures
one of
are
those
not.
goals as well, remember, Swan, was Leeds United cheating as well. So,
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
Dirty Leeds.
I disagree.
So those fixtures actually, I'm not too sure now because Bournemouth at home, Everton at home, and West Ham at home, they're all really decent attacking sides. And
Palace
I
are
don't
generally
agree with the.
although Palace are generally better away, so who knows with Palace?
I think I was just looking, thinking that those 2s are quite generous, to be honest.
Yep.
Yeah.
Generous in terms of.
They're very good attacking sides, those sides. Bournemouth,
Yeah,
Everton,
exactly.
and West Ham are very good
think they
attacking
don't-
sides.
Yeah, I think they should be given a 3 there. I don't agree with the 2 rating there for these guys.
They never get these numbers right every year.
No, I mean they don't even have a 1. So
They never used 1. I've never seen
Yeah.
1 ever. Yeah.
So I'm not sure that Bournemouth at home is a great fixture for them, or Everton at home, or even West Ham at home.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not too sure now about Heaton.
I don't
this is what's
honestly
happening
think
with the
any of the
4.5s.
4.5s have great fixtures, and that's why I said I think it's generally a crapshoot because
It is.
none of them have particularly
Yeah.
standout fixtures. Like even looking at Pope, you've got Arsenal, Liverpool, Wolves thrown in there in the first 4.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a gamble either way. So whichever 4.5 has broken away from the others, you have to jump on him as soon as you realize it.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian, I mean, same thing. West Ham at home. They could be quite an attacking side.
Yeah. Watford away. Like the first 4, again, I could see them conceding in all of those first 4 games.
Yep. I can see 4.
Yeah.
I really
Certainly, maybe Southampton at home, but certainly 3 of the 4 at least.
Mhm.
Hmm.
It really is just if you want one, pick your.
This is why I was kind of high on Leno for 0.5 more. I know the Arsenal defense isn't that great, but if you look at their home record, it's pretty damn good. I think they only conceded 16 goals at home last season,
Right.
and they've got, but it's 3 and 4 that really sort of kill you.
DK, do you want to wrap this part of it up, because then we'll go into the premiums, which I know you were high on.
Yeah, so I think we were actually discussing this yesterday. Yeah, I think I just looked at it and all the 4.5s just look so bad. Like, there's no one I'd rather honestly not have a keeper. Like, I don't think that 0.5 gets you that much, to be honest. So you're better off just not even playing a keeper than getting the 1 or 2 pointers you'll probably get from your 4.5. Like, I was looking at the premium keepers, and I'm honestly more comfortable in having De Gea against Chelsea than I am in having Pope against Southampton. I just think the difference in class of the 5.5 options and the teams they play for. Someone like Pickford has great fixtures, in my opinion, much better than I'd be much happier backing the Everton defense than I would be backing, I don't know, Brighton or Aston Villa. I don't like Heaton because he plays a lot of teams that I'm looking at attack from in the first weeks. So I think that I never want to be playing my players against each other if I can avoid it. Brighton, I just have trauma after last year's
Yeah, we
double game week Duffy captain and stuff.
Yep.
And Pope, I'm just like, those first fixtures are just awful. Like, they're absolutely dreadful. Maybe in game week 5, but until then, they're just so bad. And it's just like, there's literally no one I feel comfortable in. And because I'm a fan, like, I want to set up myself to get a good start. And I think I'm more likely to get that with a 5.5 that I can then easily downgrade to 4.5 to whoever's firing than be stuck in this crapshoot, because they've removed so many options from us this year. Like, we used to have the Fabianski that would get so many saves.
Yeah.
Or like
Consider
Tricio for Wolves that, you
yeah,
know.
that was a don't get and Foster. Fabianski, if he was 4.5, we'd all have him. And I know that's precisely
Yeah.
why they made him 5.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I understand it, but you know, that does mean that I'm now looking at Leno, I actually think is quite a good option. He had a really high save percentage. I think Arsenal should improve quite a bit this season. I'm hoping anyway. And so, like, he'd be the cheapest one I'd think I'd be comfortable with having. It just depends if I go for someone like Maitland-Niles in defense for those first two, because I definitely wouldn't want to double up. Or like change.
I suppose Pickford's decent, but my issue with Pickford, I guess, would be with Coleman / Sidibé, Digne, and possibly Mina. You've got some decent attacking threat in that Everton defence that might be worth looking at.
Yeah. Even the De Gea pick, you have Van Bissaka at the same price now, and he's a bonus magnet. You know that.
Yeah.
So, but do you really want to invest in De Gea over AWB?
Yeah,
Because
for me,
I don't think you would go for
5.5.
double.
Lloris would be my pick.
Yeah, I have looked
fair
at
enough.
Lloris as well. I just
Yeah, I
like
think Argentina has it.
There's Spurs.
Yeah, I just think for me with Lloris, the centre half don't have a lot of attacking threat, and we know that Poch likes to rotate his fullbacks. If you wanted Spurs defence, Lloris is cheap. He's nailed on, and he actually gets a decent amount of saves. He averages somewhere in the 140s for points every season.
And I think Spurs will be better defensively with Ndombele now. So I think that should really help their solidity. And, you know, like, even though they have those presumably tough fixtures against City and Arsenal away, like, I can still see him getting a fair few saves in both of those games, even if he doesn't keep a clean sheet. Whereas those home games, I can see a clean sheet in every one of, like, the first 6 home games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I did want to look at Lloris, and again, it may be something I'll have to play around with on my team later on when we get there, because I was kind of with you, PQ. That's why I said the 4.5s were a crapshoot, because none of them have great fixtures. We don't know will Pope even start for Burnley. We assume so, but it would be typical FPL if Joe Hart was on the team sheet. So
I think something worth noting as well is, I don't know if you've guys seen, I know it's a lot is down to Bissaka, but United defense ownership is like 70%, which was also kind of why I was keen on De Gea, because it gave me cover of that defense. And in those first few games, even if they're harder games, I was thinking De Gea could get quite a few saves anyway. Just because of their massive fan following, it's always a team that has massive ownership. It's just quite scary to me to go without any United defense.
Yeah, I've opted for Maguire, but I could easily see, like we talked about earlier, there's some 4.5 defenders that have some attacking threat and bonus potential more so than the 4.5 keepers have save potential. So, yeah, it might be worth putting in a 5.5 into the keeper spot and replacing that with a 4.5 defender in your team, depending on the rest of your setup. TFF, do you have thoughts?
I I think I'll just probably pick the one who I think will make the most number of saves, really, because as you guys have been discussing, there's not much to pick for clean sheets. Fixtures aren't that straightforward for anyone. So I mean, I know for a fact that Heaton is a very good shot stopper. Probably the same goes for Henderson. So I mean, I think these guys can be relied upon for saves at least. I don't have the budget to spend a million more on my keeper, so I'll probably just stick to the 4.5 keeper I can get.
Yep. All right. I don't know if we had anything else on the agenda before we get into the rate my teams. We kind of already talked formation earlier. Yeah, we talked earlier about Greenwood, but also with Button. Do we really, for the high ownership fact and they're not going to play about Greenwood? It sounded promising today. Should we ditch those for ones that have much lower ownership that we know aren't going to play for the value rather than risk a price drop? In Button's case, I absolutely think so.
For me, the only reason to have Button is if you have Ryan. That's it. If you have Ryan, have Button. Otherwise,
Yeah, I've gone for Woodman just because I know he's gone. He's got low ownership, so no one can surely expect him to play. Like, it's just quite a safe one to have, I think.
Yeah, here's all the 4.0s. Yeah, I've gone for Woodman. He can't drop because he's not in the game anymore, or he's not on the team anymore.
He's on loan, I think.
He's on loan.
yeah, he's on loan. Yeah.
Kelly I think a lot of dead teams have Kelly, to be honest.
Yeah, and I could see that kind of dropping off a little bit.
Yeah.
If you look at the Rico and even Lundstrom's only up around 7%.
Lundstrom I'm more confident in keeping with. I think the talk of him up in the team, I don't, unless they're going to go on a much more defensive option for certain matches, which they probably will. I think might be certain to start.
I mean, they've signed Bezic, which is the one that sort of maybe threatens him.
Yeah. For me, I mean, again, for these first three, I would think he's relatively nailed. Once we get to Chelsea and they want to set up more with four at the back, maybe not. But by that point, it's easy to move off of, especially for Aubameyang. You have the extra cash to go on to whatever 4.5 is worth it.
Have we had a discussion on the Liverpool defense and the number of defenders you guys are going for?
Yeah, we touched on it earlier. I think all of us, will have one. There are still, I think we did the poll in the chat earlier this week. About half of people have two. If they're going to, most have Van Dijk as one of those two, which is why the ownership kind of reflects that. I'm only going one, though. I think you can spread the money around elsewhere to get better value.
I think you can't have two if you want free premium. I don't think it's doable. So if you're going for the Aubameyang, Sterling, Salah route, you can only afford to have one of those. But I think I definitely have two if you're not going for the free premiums.
By the way, little aside, neat little thing you can do with StreamYard. You can post comments of people who are watching this on YouTube right now, like our resident porn man, Phil. So, there we go. All right, sorry. Anyone else? Liverpool? All right, I think we kind of moved on. Do we want to get into the rate my team areas? Let's go through.
Yeah,
I'll go through who's in here now, and then we can go into the chat. A few people have posted in the chat since I put this together. JK, is this still your side?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It is. So, obviously, Lo Celso signing has really made me sort of doubt Lamela. So, the couple of things I'm doing, the only thing I think I've changed is I now have Henderson rather than Heaton. But I'm debating whether to lose Wilson for King and use that cash to fund either Lucas or Martial in that Lamela spot.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's a little bit safer, less risky. Lucas is probably less nailed than Lamela, but he's much easier to jump off. The risk is probably about equal, but it's a lot easier to jump off Lucas than it is to jump off Lamella.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, we had in the list of things to discuss there the number of like which 7 mil, 7.5 mil mids, and I think there's a lot of them. And I think if you've got Mora, like you say, you can have him for 2 games, and then, or even for the first game, and then decide if you're going to jump on to.
Yeah, and then there's also the Fornals and Lanzini who are $1 million less, and I'm kind of interested to watch West Ham and see how they're looking around Allah and see is he the best option, or is one of them looking like they're kind of almost a secondary striker. So because that's my first thing, and obviously you can see there I've got a 4.5 keeper, so I'm partly debating whether I should take some cash out from say Digne and say $500,000 to $1 million and plough it in, because I've got $500,000 in the bank. So if I did Wilson to King, it pays for say Lamella to Lucas, and if I did say Digne to Maguire, I could still get a Lloris or a Pickford in. And I'm wondering whether that's maybe a better spread of the cash than going for Digne and Heaton and a 4.5.
The big issue you're going to have is that just half of your defense, really. Rico is just not going to play anymore.
Yeah, I'm probably going to lose him.
Throws your like Kiko and Montoya rotation out the window because you have to play both of them now.
No, I have to play one or the other.
Yeah,
I can still use Greenwood and Donker.
Who else are you going to play then? Who's going to be your 11th man? Because Rico's not going to be playing.
No, I've got Dendoncker in there, but yeah, I'm going to lose Rico, so I'm probably going to reassess my defensive options with the Daniel stuff. For example, Dendoncker rotates really well with West Ham, so I could bring in a Diop or a Fredericks in that and rotate. Yeah. As long as I have a third defender in there who I could use.
It's just a question of how comfortable you actually feel with like starting Dendoncker in your side.
Yeah, I guess there is that. So, but that is my main issue, I guess, is I probably need. I think I'm going to have to take Wilson out for King or another 6.5 just to generate some cash, so I can jump off Lamella. But I'm really simply thinking that Digne might just have to go, just so I can plough some cash into somewhere else. Either turn Rico into say Adam Smith for $4.5 million more, for $500,000 more, who we know is going to play, and it keeps that kind of Kiko, Montoya, and Smith rotation going.
I mean, Wilson and King has been on my mind all week, JK. All I'm thinking is, over 38 games, I think Wilson will score more. However, over just the 2 games that we'll want our Bournemouth strikers for, it's a coin flip, and King has pens.
Yeah,
but I think in a coin flip situation, which I think with King having pens, it is a coin flip who scores the most in the first 2. I think it's worth having the extra 1.5 now. I don't think Wilson can justify the extra 1.5 for those 2 games alone, to be honest.
Unless they're rotating pens again. I don't think.
Yeah, but I think for me, it's having that 1.5. It's that gives me that route into a Martial or a Lucas instead of Lamella. I think there's not many ways out of Lamella, really. There's Barkley or maybe Tross or something like that. With Lucas, I've got options to go down, to switch to a Martial. And with Aubameyang, potentially you even got the option to go up and get Son in. For example, if I didn't want Kane, I could drop Aubameyang down to, say, Allah at West Ham and use that money to put Son into the midfield.
Yeah. Here's the thing. It may not be a transfer waiting to happen. I think he may still play come game week 3. I think Moore might make way for Son, but it certainly is going to dent his appeal for any.
Yeah, but there's Chelsea as well to come in, which could.
Yeah.
Lamella.
So you're setting yourself up for one at least, and at $6 million, it doesn't leave you many options.
I think it leaves loads of options. I disagree. I think there's tons of good options at $6 million, in my opinion. You've got Trossard, who, like, obviously we have a lot of promise for. for the first 2 games, or like apart from game week 3 and 4, Bournemouth actually have good fixtures till game week 10. And I think we're sort of ignoring that because of that game week 3 and 4. But, you know, you could have someone like Wilson. You've got Grealish, Hurahan, and Jota at Aston Villa. You've got whoever Chelsea's number 10 is. You've got Iwobi, who should probably be starting by then. You've got Yarmolenko for West Ham. Like, I generally think there's like a lot more options there than we look at or than we think there are. So I'm
Yeah,
not
that is
actually
the
that worried.
that is the
About
thing with the 6 million ones, because you don't really know which one you should go for right now. But by game week 4 or maybe 5, you would know which option really is an option and which 6 million asset is someone you can have. So I think it's a wait and see approach for me with the 6 million. Right now, I can't put my finger on anyone that this is gonna be the player to have at 6 million. So I'm just waiting patiently.
Yeah,
But I agree, there are options.
yeah, I think there will be options, but it could be worth the while to go for King now. And if one emerges when I need to lose Lucas, it gives me some cash there. Because my other problem is that defense, and I think it needs fixing. So the question is where I find the cash to do it. There is $500,000 in the bank with my team. So, say Digne to say Wan-Bissaka, for example, would give me $1 million to play with, which I could spend $500,000 on, say, Rico to Smith, and $500,000 on Heaton to someone like Leno, or just stick with a 4.5 and upgrade that rotation. But I'm really concerned about that defense.
I like the latter option. Go ahead, AK.
Honestly, I think the defense is kind of weak because I don't really fancy either of those 3 teams that you have. Like Rico, we know maybe we are expecting him not to play. Kiko, because Watford were horrible in the second half of the season at the back. They were conceding goals week in and week out. So I think it's better if we wait, because I don't think they've invested a lot in the defense. Maybe they haven't even invested in one.
They've got Dawson, and that's it. But
yeah, I mean, Dawson, is it the Spurs Dawson, the Hull City Dawson? Craig Dawson,
No.
or who?
Craig Dawson.
Yeah, the one that used to play for West Brom.
guy. Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
the one we were getting.
And then there's Montoya, who's, we know about Graham Potter that he is very attacking, and the defensive stats weren't great. So I'm not too sure if I'm very comfortable with that defense.
No, I'm not
I mean, the
now
4.5, the 4.5 defenders are really terrible at this moment. The options at 4.5, I don't fancy any of them unless we get someone like, say, Chambers at 4.5 or even Holding. But then again, I mean, we've sold David Luiz to them, so that option is also pretty much dead. So I would say find some money for someone like Azuma at 5 million, who I think is going to be nailed now.
I mean, I've got $500,000, so I can sell one of those 2 4.5 guys for Salmon.
Yeah, so I think that is somewhere, because 5 million you have Maitland-Niles, who will play right wing back maybe at Arsenal, and even Zuma at 5 million. I think they are much better options than these 4.5 ones.
Yeah.
So
just for 5.5 extra.
Yeah. But I'm still concerned. So I could swap Rico for, say, Lundstrom and just at least have him as my 4.0 guy, who at least can.
I think that might be given it.
So therefore my question is, so I could do, say, Montoya to Zalma. That's my 0.5 gone.
Yeah.
So would it be worth doing Wilson to King to lose Lamella? And is there someone in the 4.5 option you prefer to, say, Kiko?
It depends. It really depends. I fancy Wilson a lot, honestly, because I saw his big chances stats and how he has been playing against the lower half teams, and I am pretty certain he's going to outscore King in these 2 games. No, it's just a gut feeling, maybe, but.
Yeah, no, I actually agree. I prefer Wilson as an option, but it's not Wilson as a standalone. It's the Wilson and Lamella side of it that is that really asking for trouble.
I mean, it all depends on who you fancy and who your alternative is for Lamela.
I'll say it would be, if I was going for King, it'd probably be going up to Lucas or Martial, someone like that.
Yeah.
I think I like Marshall more than Lucas because I think Lucas is going to be out of the team by game week 3.
Yeah, Martial could be a decent long-term option there.
Yeah.
And then just find any old 4.5, I guess, to come in for Kiko.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or downgrade Digne to Coleman or Mina.
Yeah,
and
that's
use
there.
that
That's
money.
there. But I think Coleman should be fine for a few weeks until
Yeah.
I think I'm going to be very. I think we're going to mostly use our wildcards by game week 5 because there's so much uncertainty right now that when the season opens, it's going to be there's going to be a lot of options coming out. And I think we will be wildcarding early, mostly if we have to attack this season. So by game week 5, I think. So I was talking about these short-term options. So I think you could go for short-term options if you want. So as for Marshall, I like Marshall.
Yeah. So that's an option. So is it so that would put me at 0 in the bank? Doing obviously
So basically,
Montoya.
yeah. I was talking about Coleman, right? So I think Coleman should be fine for the first 3 or 4 weeks. I think we should ask boss about it, but CDB has just joined, I think, and I don't think he's just gonna rotate them out of like he's not gonna be a pep about it. I think he will only rotate Coleman when he's showing that he's not fit or maybe when he's injured. But I think he should be safe to start the season.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
either, sorry, PKW, come.
Like, sorry, just because I saw a tweet, think yesterday before he joined, he lost the ball like 100 more times than any other player in the whole of the league on last season. Yeah, like I actually I would not be worried having Coleman because I don't think he's gonna get him out of this team anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also really tempted because I really like Mina. I don't know why. I just think he's just got that massive goal threat about him.
Yeah, the World Cup, I remember. He was scoring in every game.
I mean, yeah, we got to. I would wait.
And they have good set piece takers as well. I mean, Sigurdsson has a very good. I don't remember.
Yeah, well, they didn't get sent half in, did
number.
they? In the window.
Is Mina definitely going to start? Because if so, that's somebody that I'm definitely interested in.
He looks like it because they didn't get sent half in, did they? So
yeah,
I don't think
is anybody else in contention though? It's definitely going to be Keane and Mina.
No, it's going to be Mina.
Should be Mina.
That new guy, Lewis Gibson or whatever his name is, that was playing in pre-season. And Holgate can play at centre back as well, but I doubt there's any like serious threat.
I don't think either of them are going to start ahead of Mina. So what I can do with that is then either get a 5 million keeper or get a second 5 million defender in for Kiko by a simple downgrade of Digne.
Yeah, I think that sounds fair to me.
To either Coleman or to Mina. So are there any other 5-0 defenders that any people like other than say Maitland-Niles? Because I worry about him once Bellerin comes back.
But
is he
to October?
Is he out to October?
Yeah.
Okay, in that case, I can start Maitland. In that case, I can go with Maitland-Niles.
Yeah, he's not meant to be back till like around that second international break in October time.
Interesting.
Right. I mean, I'm just looking at the other 5.0 options. So I can either get a West Ham guy in, or I can bring in someone like Maitland-Niles or someone else, or because the Spurs fullback situation is a little bit, because that would be the other option, is to try and pick Maitland-Niles and whoever starts right back for Spurs. The problem is we don't know who that's going to be between Aurier and Walker-Peters.
It's going to be
Walker on as well now, by the way. They have 3 right backs now.
Who else did they bring in?
Sessenon, Ryan Sessenon, I think.
He's left.
He
plays on the left.
Oh, okay.
He plays on the left.
My bad. No, okay. Fair enough.
But they do have Foyth, who's going to be back from injury in like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Zalma at least should be decent enough, I suppose. I don't like the idea of Zalma for against United, but who knows? If I can get away with benching him, I will. Like, because I can probably get away with shoving him on the bench I'll have Maitland-Niles, I'll have Alexander-Arnold, and I'll have Coleman or Mina, whichever one of the two.
I mean, I suppose you could go Holobas just because he actually has good attacking threat.
Good old
then
He's gonna
old
get a
Holobas
yellow
yellow
card.
card.
Gonna be-
Yeah,
No,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's a hell of a lot of card threat. That's the problem with Holobas. He could get you 1 point or he could get you 17.
Yeah.
Did he not
Isn't
get
that-
like 15 or 16 yellow cards last season?
Yeah, he's like I think only Shaw beats him for like minutes per yellow card in the whole league.
Right. We're gonna move
Right,
on.
we'll move on. Yeah.
Yeah, this is Les Blues team, his most recent one. Think he has nothing in the bank now with this. Doing the quick math, I think that's about right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty. But again, 4.5 keepers. He went for Pope. He's
Yeah.
got Jota instead of a King Wilson double up because he has Fraser. Yeah, I mean it's solid. It's got
Yeah, that's it. For a non-premium striker team, that's about as straightforward, about as safe as
Yep.
about as template as it gets. Really, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that team.
No.
Yeah.
He just hasn't gone down the premium route for a striker, which is fine. You know, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, it's got the double pool.
Exactly.
I think-
That's what the team without a premium striker should look like, really.
Yeah, I really like this team, and I think Fraser is an interesting pick as well because you have a lot of midfielders at 7.5, like Martial, and you will have a Chelsea midfielder somewhere down the line. And after milking these two decent fixtures for Fraser, you can just jump on whoever has broken away in that price range. So I think Fraser is a very interesting pick at the start of the season.
My only difference would probably be I'd maybe like switch Jota to Dini or Delafeu just because I fancy their fixtures a bit more. I'm not sure how Europa will impact Wolves as well. They've got like a 7-hour flight from Armenia.
Yeah. And we did come off after an hour though, Hotter, didn't he? After getting a 3 assists.
He
So,
did.
I mean,
After,
he's rested, and I think he's appears to be on form. Whether or not you can have form against an
I think his-
Armenian
I don't doubt
team that didn't even win the league, but anyway.
Yeah, it's really difficult between these 6.5 forwards because I had a stat comparison between all those, like King, Delofeo, and Yota, and there was almost nothing to separate them. I mean, one player used to win something and the other used to win something else, and then there was King who was always so consistent with the minutes. So it's very difficult. So I think you just go with your gut, or if you really want a tiebreaker in these sort of situations, you go for the fixtures. That's all you can do about this.
I'm a bit sad that Burnley's fixtures are so bad because Wood would be the perfect 6.5.
Yeah, Wood is his goal involvement is fantastic.
Yeah, and this is without pens. So if Rodriguez replaces Barnes, Wood could potentially get pens in that team as well, which could be another like talking point. Yeah, I was hoping to go with Murray as well, but now Mope is signed.
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to start there. So it's kind of like over the season, it's just the bracket's been cut out a bit. Like Joe Linton, their fixtures are poor. Southampton, their fixtures are poor.
Even West Ham, for that matter. I mean, you could have gone for Holler, and then Keane has signed pretty late in the window. So
Haller's
there's a lot of
7.5
uncertainty.
though, that's a big difference. I mean, the one I'd be tempted by maybe Wesley, but we're not sure on Villa.
I would. He seems to have pens. I don't know for certain, but it seems to be the best bet right now. He looked to be more of a hold the ball up kind of forward in preseason. So I don't know.
So would
Grealish
not have pens?
What's that?
Would Grealish not have pens over him?
Yeah.
Or whoever.
He wasn't the best last year, but he could. Wesley took a couple in preseason. That's why we're thinking. I mean, we don't
okay.
really know.
So he took
he
took 2 penalties in the preseason, Wesley.
Right. I don't consider him an out-and-out selfish striker.
Okay.
He kind of won, but we'll see. I mean, you have to give it some time.
Yeah. Fair enough. It's the
I
same
guess
thing as
that
Barkley.
might be good for the
Right.
team. Like,
I will say this before we get on to Boss's team, because I saw JK back in the chat. You asked about it. So as a 5.5 mid option, wait a little bit. But John McGinn was our little engine that could last year, and with the formation we had, he was absolutely vital to everything that was going on. Now there's a lot new signings. Obviously, there's Trezeguet up front. There's El Ghazi. There's Grealish is playing probably a different role now behind the striker. So see how it all shakes out. But the link-up play and the influence he has in that team is you can't calculate it. So if you wait a few weeks, McGinn might be the option to emerge at 5.5.
Yeah.
I would not start with him, but I would definitely put him on the watch list. Right. So this is Boss. I think he's still on this. He's got 6.5 for the final spot.
I'd leave Perez in there.
Yeah, I would go for
Yes,
Perez as well.
Perez, definitely. And
I think he's not going to get much from the cons here. I think Perez is like the most favored midfielder.
Yeah,
Salah
I
and
think
Sterling
there's
for the
obviously
cons.
man I like Fornals and Lanzini at West Ham, but I really want to see how it all meshes together, especially with the new centre forward, and see then sort of game week 2 or 3, we can make a firm sort of judgment call on who the option is there. Because what I'd really like to see is, I don't know how long Noble's out for, but with him out, I want to know who would be on pens if Noble wasn't on the pitch. My money would be on Haller. His record's really good, but Lanzini was on them last season when Noble wasn't on the pitch.
So live feedback from Boss.
Gone with Perez.
So
Cool.
I like this. You can get people's comments right into the chat. It's very nice.
Yeah,
That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Google, for discontinuing Hangouts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate how Google just drops products and not makes them better, but whatever. Okay. Yeah, I would vote Perez too, but definitely Lanzini after the first couple, I think might be I think
Lanzini or Fornal. I think one of those two could be gold, and it's really just want to see how they gel and how Haller looks in that setup, whether he might be the one to have.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
I actually quite like the look of that team.
Yeah.
It's
It's different and it's nice.
Villa, Watford, and Sheffield rotate very nicely. Very nicely. If Lundstrom
I'd
great
turn it into 4-4-2 if it was me. And instead of Keane, I'd have like Van Dijk in defense. Probably feel a bit safer that way, but
or even
general,
Zinchenko for that matter. I think 5.5.
I don't.
On Zinchenko, Pep came out in his press conference and said 2 things about Cancelo. First, he won't play game week. First, he won't play against West Ham, and second, that he can play left back.
He can play left back. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Pep said I can play Cancelo on the left if I want to.
Zinchenko is
I
stealing.
might go without City defence until we figure out what's going on. Then, to be honest,
That's what
there are only really at this point. There's only 2 nailed-on starters in that defence: Ederson and Laporte.
Yeah.
Ederson's not starting game week 1 either. Bravo.
No, I think that's true. Bravo, yeah. So again, I think
So
there could be an argument.
Game week 1. You can't go for Laporte because you don't know if he's starting because of his knock. Walker will start game week 1, but you don't know after. Like, it's just too much unknowns for me to actually want to gamble.
Yeah, that's it. And of course, West Ham away and Spurs at home. It isn't like they've got Brighton at home and then
Norwich away or something.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's very plausible that they're conceding those 2 games anyway. So I'm not desperate to get City defence at this second.
Yeah.
Yeah, me neither. I switched to Maguire yesterday. I'm happy with that. THM, I think, gave us a second draft up here.
Yeah, he did.
All right, so I'll skip his for now. We'll get to the stuff in the chat. So next is mine. I'll make mine quick. So pretty set on all of this except do I use the 0.5 in the bank to upgrade Rico to say a Montoya or something, or do I
I
risk it?
think you have to now. Yeah.
Yeah. Or go downgrade Digne to a Coleman and turn him into a Zalm or a Maitland-Niles.
Right, I like Digne though, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's an option. I think I
mean-
might go Montoya. I think he has the best fixtures of all of this, and if I'm going Robinson instead of Trossard, I'll go with a Brighton player in that spot.
Why not downgrade Richarlison a bit?
I thought of that as we're talking on the cast and earlier with Boss. I'm thinking of that now. Maybe go a
Yeah.
Fraser,
If you
maybe,
do
or I
Richarlison
don't
to
know.
Fraser, for example, which I don't think is a big downgrade for what
Oh.
you're going to get points
Wait,
wise.
can you repeat that, PKW? You broke up a bit then.
Yeah.
So, if you do Richarlison to Fraser, which I don't think is that big a downgrade.
Yeah. I'm with you
Yeah.
on that.
Or
get that
Lucas or Martial, anyone like that.
Yeah, or just to a 7.5 even. Yeah, I just don't think. Or if you go, I notice you don't have Perez, so you could go for Perez, and then that gives you enough to get playing like a good fourth defender to go 4-4-2, and you have money to upgrade your keeper as well if you want, or to upgrade Robinson.
Yeah,
So I think
I'm
that
with
would
you on
be
that.
the
I think
I kind of want to keep Everton attack somewhere. Especially,
Digne.
yeah,
well, you have Digne for it.
Yeah. There we go. So he covers defense and attack. That's true. Yeah, Charles and the Fraser, the double up on Bournemouth may work. And then I don't know if there's a 5.0 defender I like. I'll take a look through everything else. But yeah, you're right about if you go to Perez, then Enrico can become any 5-5.
Yeah.
I don't
See
think it's
that.
risky without Leicester to not have Perez or Maddison or Vardy. I think that's quite a risky approach, to be honest.
Fair.
Just because they're quite popular, and I think that their fixtures are underrated. Like I can see them scoring 2 goals in both against Wolves and against Chelsea. So like I'm not that scared of those. I think they're good options that I want to have. I might as well get them in now.
Actually, even if we're confident in Everton, I'm not sure. Gives me 2 million for Charleston to Perez to upgrade Rico. So Coleman actually fits in that spot. Zinchenko, but I'm not high on City's fixtures for clean sheets. But I'll take another look at it. But yeah, I do think Rico has to go, given Daniels is fit. Right. Appreciate everyone. Taylor Penn, who I think is listening in. We can talk.
I'll just take his man in 5 minutes anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
He's looking at either Den Knocker Wilson or Richarlison and a non-playing Wickham.
Between those two, I would stick with what he's got because I think that teams with 2 4.5 strikers is just that is a crazy structure for me. We've talked about. I mean, if you've got Wilson and 2 4.5s, and it's like we said before, if Kane starts firing, then you've got a -8 to sort that.
To be honest, if you've got Wickham going there, if he needed a Kane or an Aubameyang, something like that, that's wildcard game week 2 or 3 territory straight away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
not technically. He could do something like Sterling and then get someone in, but yeah, it's a very like.
But then you're losing a Sterling, which might not be the right move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's such a restructure that it's literally wildcard territory. It's the only way he's going to do it.
That's why
I agree with that. I think you want a structure that is if it comes to 3 premiums. So if the 3 premiums teams are winning at the start of the season, you need to have a structure where you can just get to a 3 premium structure in 2 or maximum 3 transfers. That's it. You don't want more transfers.
So if you're getting to game week 3 and you need it, you're gonna have 2 frees and just spend a -4.
Like a mini wildcard, it would be fine, but you need to have a structure in which a 3 premium structure is possible by game week 3 with a hit.
which is why I really like the idea of just get Salah, Sterling, Aubameyang in and build your
Yeah,
team
yeah.
around that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
which
easier
is,
to downgrade.
which is
Be
what
like-
I did.
Yeah, just be like, I need a Liverpool defender. I need probably an Everton defender. I need
Yeah.
a Bournemouth attacker, and just fill it out like that, sort of, and see whatever
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
get with the budget.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I was on Kane, as I said, but it's just that two midfielders that I had, they were Barkley and Robinson. So
Mm.
I'm not really sold on them. I know there will be options there, but I don't know who it is right now. So that is the only problem that I have. But I'm pretty sure on my wildcard, I'm going to go for 3 premiums.
That's
Mhm.
right.
But fair enough. I'm with you. 3 premiums is better, in my opinion, too.
All right, now we're into the rate my teams that came in later this morning. So, Newcomb, Double G. Sorry to be a massive pain.
And just how we have discussed how that structure is
Yeah.
FPL
So he's got Wilson
suicide.
and Martinelli in there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
That,
know.
no. I'd lose
Yeah.
one of Dini or Coleman. What is
Yeah.
Stone doing in there? Johnny Evans light.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. You do not need double Everton defence. I'd straight away I'd take out Coleman and Stones and sort out that
Yeah,
either
take
with
him down to
or
5.
Martinelli.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
the midfield is fine.
Martial or something, and that frees up $1 million. Yeah, I think like as much as I don't mind 5 at the back, the only 5 at the back I'd like is a 5-3-2, not a 5-4-1.
Hmm.
Yeah, I guess there's, again, if he needs to jump, because there's no way you can take enough money out from that back 5 if he
That is
needed
an
to
instant
keep
wild
going.
card. If you need Kane or Aubameyang, that is an instant wild card.
You know
Hmm.
what? I think it wouldn't be too if he did something like Fraser to, I don't know, either Martial to like King instead,
Yeah,
or like
maybe. Yeah,
Fraser to Perez and get Vardy in as the second striker over Martial. Like, I think that's already a much more structure wise, like
Yeah.
with the budget spread of it.
Yeah, we've talked about Everton lack or potential lack of getting clean sheets early. That they're struck with their fixtures.
Did they concede in
Against-
pre-season?
Go ahead.
I don't remember Everton conceding in pre-season, like at
No,
all.
and bear in mind they kept 8 clean sheets in their last 11 at the back end of the season and didn't concede in their final 5 home games, which included Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, and United in the 4 of those 5 teams. So especially at home, they are solid.
but I mean,
Yeah, but then again, I mean, they have sold. They don't have Zuma anymore. They don't have Kane
that's
anymore.
it,
So
Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't
Well,
know how it's
exactly.
they
going to
didn't
happen.
have but they didn't have either of those 2 in pre-season, and they still didn't concede.
And also, Marco Silva isn't like before last season, before the second half last season, he wasn't known to be a very good manager with defense. So I just have few reservations about it.
Yeah, I
but
wouldn't
I'm
want.
going
I
with
wouldn't
Daniel.
want to. I'm all right with 1. Coleman or
Yeah.
Digne probably have enough attacking threat to justify having them in,
Exactly.
even if you
Yes.
think they'll concede, because they could keep a clean sheet, especially at home. But I'm not sure I'd want them both.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd rather have a United defender over one of those, like Coleman to Maguire.
Yeah,
Just
I'd like that too.
spread the risk a bit, or Stones needs to go, really, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I'm not fond of
Stones
that.
needs to go, and that's coming from me.
Stones to Maitland
Yeah,
Niles.
the guy who went transferred to 38 game weeks.
Yeah. All right. We'll move on to Darth Crid. Keep talking. I'll be right back. But there's Darth Crid's team. I don't believe didn't list anything in the bank, so I think this is it.
Again, for me, that structure is risky. There's Wilson, there's Wesley and King with Greenwood. So, where
I think the structure is actually not bad because instead of us having Perez, he has De Bruyne, and instead of us having Wilson
in there.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is as well, if Lundstrom doesn't start, he's got Montoya playing every week unless he's going to rotate Montoya with the big donk.
Yeah, or Mason Greenwood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
and
don't.
honestly,
I don't
personally, I don't fancy playing Dendonka. I mean, I would only want him to come in for someone who's not playing. I wouldn't want him to start my game week.
Yeah,
Absolutely
like
not.
Arnold doesn't turn up or something, you know.
Yeah.
I just look at that team and I think it's nice to have De Bruyne in there, but the improvements that could be made by doing De Bruyne to Perez
Perez.
are just massive.
Yeah, because straight away, De Bruyne to Perez allows, say, Wesley to Vardy or Wesley to someone like of that ilk.
Yeah,
Just
but then
allow
again, I mean, De Bruyne could do
and
things. I
Montoya
mean,
to United.
Yeah. It's interesting.
It goes
But
both
again,
ways,
if
I
he
think.
needs to go that route, De Bruyne out straight away can free up 3 million if he needs to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I like this team honestly because it's a little different than different in terms of the structure, but I don't think it's inflexible. I think it's a good team. I think KDB is a good pick, but I like this team. I can't if he's sold on KDB, then fair enough. I mean, I don't have any problems with
I
it.
would say I'd probably downgrade one of the Liverpool fullbacks to Van Dijk and upgrade Montoya by that $500,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
I
would
think
be
that would help a lot. Just get get
Or
Zuma,
even
get Maitland-Niles or someone in, like.
yeah, or
Or
even Marshall to Perez, and you just bump up Montoya to a 5.5, which is pretty good,
Yeah.
I think, in my
Something like that. I just think it's like that would be the only. But yeah, I think what he's done is effectively he's used De Bruyne instead of that third premium striker.
Yeah.
So that's his like sort of cash cow, and if he needs to go, like then De Bruyne can be where he frees up his budget, which I don't think is the worst idea.
No.
Yeah, I like it.
Having a third striker for the fixtures, but there's more than one way to skin a cat.
I think he had mentioned that too, that he wants to get Son in game week 3, so that KDB spot is straight.
Yeah, again.
There you go, Son or Pepe in game week 3.
And he's pretty much a striker anyway, because
Yeah. So again, where Aubameyang comes in handy if I needed to.
Yep.
And if you
can
think
turn money
about
out there and turn, say, Martial into Son.
Yeah. I again
You
don't
know,
like the starting
strikers-
point, but in this structure, I think it's fine with whoever they else.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
he effectively has 5 starting strikers.
Yep.
Like Martial's up top, Wesley and King are strikers, and then you've got Salah and Sterling who might as well be forwards.
Yeah.
So
It's an interesting one, yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and he's got 3 of the best attacking defenders in the game.
See,
So I think this is a
I've got
very
6
strong
in
team.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I've got 6 starting strikers in mine, essentially.
really like that team. Yeah, I think he's been very smart with it. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Like, the structure's fine. I think with De Bruyne in there, there's routes in there because say Son, there's a route to Son or Pepe, or there's a route to Kane or Aubameyang by taking money out from that spot. So
I think that a tweak that you mentioned actually, if it looks like he needs to play Montoya every week, doing one of the Liverpool fullbacks to Van Dijk does allow for maybe Maitland-Niles,
who
is fine to play every week for the first few.
I wouldn't say every week, because the first couple, their away record's terrible, but at home, that Arsenal defence is better than people give it credit for.
Yes, it
I'm
is
away
pretty
at
good.
Newcastle, remember, though. You'd play Maitland-Niles happily at Newcastle.
Yeah, there's attacking threat there with him.
Yeah. Where's the Martial love come from? I know he's played up front, but I'm just not convinced. Like, the front three is quite fluid, so you're not just as likely to get the goals from Rashford or James as you are to get them from Martial.
Well, I'm a United fan, so I'm biased.
No, but the thing with Marshall is when you know he's starting, when you know Marshall is starting, he is fantasy gold. He's close to it because he's a good scorer and he gets points when he's starting.
His finishing is clinical, yeah.
Maybe Greenwood is now usurped him, but I've said last year that Martial was the best finisher United had. Greenwood maybe because Greenwood is a very
and
good
he even took a penalty, by the way. So against City, if you remember that. So I mean, if
Yeah,
Pogba is not on the pitch or something, he might be even on bench.
Yeah, no, but Martial for me, and again, that front three is fluid, but in recent preseason games, it's been Martial who's been the focal point, the main centre forward,
Yeah.
because
So
Rashford prefers to run the channels.
so as a neutral, I really like Marshall when I know he's starting. The only problem with him is we don't know if he starts or not. But right now we know he's gonna start.
Yeah,
Although
yeah.
I don't fancy the first two fixtures, but then again he scored a couple against Chelsea anyway last season, so he could.
Yeah, he got two at the bridge last season. Yeah.
Yes, so I like this. I like the pick. When I know that Marshall is starting, I think he's a very good pick.
I'd love to fit him in, but with 3 premium strikers, I don't see how.
Yeah,
Well, I made it work, but my defense is quite cheap. So my defense is like Mina, Alexander Arnold, Maitland-Niles, and Zalma. So
I mean, I just show you my team. It
I
fits.
think my issue is the expensive goalkeeper because I'm going for like a 5 or 5.5.
yeah, because I've got Henderson in there, so that I think is where the million comes from that I've found for Martial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think this is the whole situation with keepers. This is why we don't go for expensive keepers because, I mean, I'm not saying that it's a wrong thing to do. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, it's our
You
logic.
could-
When we need the
you
extra
could-
million, we're keeping it down.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the whole point of
Correct.
going with cheap expense.
If you go with expensive keepers and start with 6 million or below midfielders, it's a lot harder to move on.
Yeah, because I think you have options at 5.5, like legit defending options. But at 4.5, you don't have defensive options. So you'd rather have a keeper at 4.5 than a defender at 4.5.
Yeah. I just wish
So
there
I
were
think-
like better keepers at 4.5,
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I'm not convinced by anyone at all. Like I just
I was
don't-
hoping, I was hoping at least Patricio would have been 4.5 because he's done nothing to get that 5 million price tag.
Yeah, he's
No.
he kept like 7 clean sheet, which was one of the lowest in the league.
Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly.
Yeah, and he wasn't even like he was up there for saves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I owned him for 35 weeks. I know he was a terrible keeper for
Yeah,
FPS.
because I was so convinced he was going to be brilliant at the start of the season, and I'm like, every time he kept easy, like I knew it, and he turned out that he wasn't that great when I got him in, to the point where I ended up selling him just to play Fabianski every week.
He was trolling me like West Brom used to troll me back in the day.
Oh, don't get me started on West Brom.
I know, that's why I'm making
They
that
got
point.
steal everybody.
So we'll move on to THM. Actually, good thing we had this chat today and not yesterday because the AMN news wouldn't have come through. So this is THM's team.
Yeah, just on the event. So was there something on? Because you said Bellerin was out to October. Does that come from the club? Or does that come from him or what?
I'm not sure actually. I've just seen it on Twitter and like in the group chat someone posted it earlier. I'll have a look. It might just be said on the FPL site like that sometimes I mean, he's still red flagged. He's not been in preseason at all.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a way back.
That itself says minimum of first international break.
Yeah.
Nobody
Like if he's still red flagged and not even back in training, that's enough for me to.
So I've just bought the Arsenal website and it says left knee continuing with on-field rehabilitation, aiming to participate in full training in October.
Yeah.
Training
So,
in October.
yeah.
He's not coming back in the starting lineup before November then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Rob Holding is fit, so that's
like
an
after
interesting
the
one.
second international break, I'd reevaluate over that time. But until then, I think we're safe.
Yeah, I think Maitland-Niles is good to go till then, definitely.
The only thing would be if Chambers might be pushed to right back. Like,
Yeah,
I'm just
but I
curious.
think
It depends on how David Luiz comes in and stuff, right? And
I
if
think
they
knowing. Go ahead.
the back. Sorry?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, if it depends like on David Luiz and if they stick to a 5 at the back or what formation Arsenal play really.
So I think he's gonna try and move the team to a 4-2-3-1 because they have really good attackers now. He's not gonna
Yeah,
bench. I mean, he
yeah,
has to bench one of Ozil and Ceballos. I mean, I don't know if Ceballos is a attacking mid or not, but he's got Pepe, he's got Aubameyang, he's got Lacazette, he's got Ozil. So I think that shouts to me that they're going to go for a four men attacking the formation. So that's going to be a 4-2-3-1 in my opinion. But if and also I don't see Emery as being the kind of manager who would go for Chambers at right back. I think he would rather go for someone who's more fluid, who's got more energy, who's got a little bit of more
yeah.
attacking threat.
And I would say at least at the start, Chambers is more likely to keep at centre half because like Louise probably comes in, but
I
will
think
it
Luis
be
is going to be
Chambers or
nailed
will it be
because
Socrates? That's the main thing, I guess.
so about the Luis situation, I'll tell you because I'm a fan. I've been following this. So I think so from what I've read, it's about he's got. I think Lampard told him that he's not an automatic choice at centre back anymore, and he got pissed
Yeah.
about it. And if he's joined Arsenal, leaving Chelsea at this point of time, I think Arsenal have pretty much confirmed it to him that you're going to be starting week in, week out.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah,
Luis is going to be a starter
yeah, I think
from
yes,
game
I
week one
agree.
even.
So the only question is going to be who. I agree 100%. Louise will be the starter. It's the
Mhm.
question of who plays with him. Is it Socrates?
I
Is
think
it
yeah,
Chambers?
it has to be. I think Socrates is by
Yeah.
far the best defender they had before Luis came in. So has to
I
be
think
Socrates, I think.
might be Holding potentially later on, but for now,
Yeah, I don't think Holding's
Yeah.
quite fit yet. He's back in
yeah,
training, but he's not had any pre-season, so I think they'll.
23s, I think. So he's played the game for
Yeah,
them, but yeah, he's not playing with the first team yet. So
no.
Yeah. So I think it's gonna be Socrates and Luis at the start. And I think Niles is gonna play on right back. I think Kolasinac may start at left back, but it
Yeah,
has to be
yeah.
Tierney
Tierney's not
later
fit
on.
yet. So.
Kolasinac, yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's gonna be a 4-2-3-1. That's my best guess about Arsenal.
Yeah, play Torreira and Xhaka as the two sort of deeper lying guys.
Yeah. And even Gunduzi if they want to play
Yeah,
him there. So I think they've got a really good team, by the way, now.
So as far
Derek,
as
their defense is awful.
team goes, game
Yeah.
week 3 and 4, he's obviously going to bench AMN, which means he's either getting Den Knocker or Greenwood if he's playing, or Lundstrom if he's playing as his sub. And how risky do we think that is?
I think it's fine because Dendonka as first sub, as I said, it's pretty good. As long as personally I don't like the rotation that Dendonka has to start a game before, I like him as a substitute, but I don't like him as a starter.
Mm.
So in this team he seems to be a substitute, so I like this.
Yeah,
I don't really see anything wrong with this team.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
we-
really like this team as well.
I'm not convinced on Zinchenko, but other than that, like,
Yeah.
really you can fault it for.
No, it's pretty solid. There's movement to lose guys in a few game weeks to upgrade or downgrade. So yeah, it's pretty.
I think that's a very strong team for game week 1 as well. So the only thing I would be a little worried about is the Leicester attacking double up. So let's say
Yeah.
Chelsea managed to keep a clean sheet in game week 2. So there's
That's why I was
potential to
gonna
lose
say,
points.
Vardy to Wilson, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah.
maybe upgrade, like, yeah. I know, because there's not really anywhere you need to funnel that cash to.
Yeah,
So
so
if you
I think
you could easily get a premium keeper if you wanted to, because there's no, like, I don't see any necessary spots to spend that extra million then.
yeah, on the double up on Leicester, I think they play Chelsea and Liverpool and even United in the first 6. So I'm just a little iffy about the attack, about the double up on attack.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
But then again, I mean, Vardy is very good in those games, so I think it makes
Oh,
sense
yeah.
in that way.
Leicester in the first 8 have Wolves at home, Chelsea away, Sheffield away, Bournemouth at home, United away, Spurs at home, Newcastle at home,
Yeah.
and Liverpool away. So a real
It's
mix.
a mixed bag. Yeah.
Averages, yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
we
they
all
have
know.
like good fixtures, they have really good fixtures, and then they have really bad fixtures. So it
Yeah.
only averages out to
So the risk of doubling up when it's all
I know Leicester's record against the top sides, especially Vardy. So I
Yeah.
can't really fault that pick because he could
Exactly.
easily score
Yeah.
a break against any of those teams.
Yep.
So
Yes, I'm with you on that. Yeah. So it's always so difficult for me to evaluate Vardy because on paper it looks like a difficult fixture, but these are the kind of fixtures that he's actually good in.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
always difficult.
and he has penalties. Let's not
Yeah.
forget that.
Yeah, that's big.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
So that's quite a big
Right.
selling point on him. Yeah.
All right. So I think we've covered everybody's team. So let's just get real quick. Any final thoughts, PKW, going into the real quick housekeeping note? The FPL site's been really lagging while we're on this call. I don't know if it's because we're streaming at the same time.
Everyone building their teams.
Get in there and get whatever moves you need done now.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
on that note, I think people are actually building the team because it was around 3.8 million. Oh my God! Listen, I just refreshed like 10 minutes back, and there are at least 500,000 new teams.
Holy
It was
crap.
on 4.5,
Yeah,
and it's
there's
on 5 million
over
already. So I
5
think,
million now.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Everybody
Yeah,
do your
so-
transfers now. Don't wait till.
yeah, I think
Yeah,
I think we
I
should.
made all of mine before.
Do it now.
So
Alert.
So I
Yeah.
think we should also alert these guys in the wrong chat as well about this because it's
Yeah.
gonna lag a lot. It's gonna
Yeah.
lag a lot.
So I actually made mine. It's pretty much as soon as we finished the discussion on my team, I went straight away and did mine. It's like,
And
don't hang
thank
around.
you, Swan, about this. Thank you, Swan. I mean, I wouldn't have checked
Yeah.
this out if
Yeah. I'm
you
just
hadn't talked about it.
wow, it's
Yeah.
taking so long to load.
Basically, set your team up in a situation you'd be happy to leave it in
Yep.
if you can't
Yep.
get back in.
leave your Sky
Exactly.
team till later. Focus on the FPL team. Sky deadline is 8 p.m. So
Yeah, I need to sort that's my next job. Now we've done this. Is now my FPL team sorted. My Sky team comes next.
yeah, or both of them.
Cool. All right, guys. I think we've exhausted everything we talked about. It's been a
Yeah,
great
that's-
game
Yep.
week. I love the new format here with StreamYard, so we'll keep it for a while, see how it goes.
Yep.
Get feedback from the lads, and best of luck, everyone. Game week 1.
Good
Yeah,
luck,
next
everyone.
week will be
Yeah,
Carnival.
good luck, everyone. Take
Good
care.
luck. Best of luck, guys.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck.